It's Stacey Cole and Carol Hughes filling in for Tony Bruschi this week on Murder in the Morning. And wow, we get to talk about Madeline Soto, that poor 13-year-old sweet girl. And really, we're not going to focus so much on her. We're going to talk about the stepdad / boyfriend of Jen Soto. Do you think it's pronounced Stephan or is it Stephen?
In my head, I look at that and see Stephen because Stephan is not that common.
Right.
So let's go with Stephen.
All right, we'll go with Stephen. It really, truly, it doesn't matter to me because he's just such a piece of crap.
I know.
I'm just going to say that right off the bat. The good news is the 9th Judicial Circuit State Attorney's Office has announced plans to seek the death penalty in the first-degree murder case against Stephan Sterns. He is accused of killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto. This decision comes after a thorough investigation and consideration of several aggravating factors. In April, Sterns was charged with first-degree murder following the disappearance and death of Madeline Soto. Sterns is 37. He is the boyfriend of Madeline's mother and has been the prime suspect since the teen's body was discovered in Osceola County on March 3rd. According to investigators, Sterns allegedly dropped Madeline off near her middle school on February 26th. However, she never made it to school. In a disturbing twist, Sterns was initially arrested for tampering with evidence found on his phone during the investigation. Even before Madeline was found dead, Sterns' actions raised significant red flags because of what they found on his phone. Evidence allegedly tampered with on his phone contributed to his arrest and subsequent charges. So on Monday, the state attorney's office cited several aggravating factors the state intends to prove in their decision to seek the death penalty. And these factors include the following: the capital felony being committed while the defendant was engaged in aggravated child abuse, the victim's particular vulnerability due to Sterns' position of familial or custodial authority over her, the capital felony's heinous, atrocious, or cruel nature, and Sterns' prior convictions involving violence with current sex charges potentially serving as priors if he is convicted. We'll go into the horrific things, not in great detail, but the things that they found on his phone. They're emphasizing the severity and brutality of the crime. The heinous nature of this crime combined with the abuse of trust and authority warrants the pursuit of the highest penalty under law. In March, Sterns faced an indictment on 60 charges related to sexual battery on a child and possessing materials depicting sexual performance by a child. These charges came before the first-degree murder charge was added in April. He says, "I don't know what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive OS update, operating system for those of you who are not Apple people, I managed to factory reset my phone and lose all my contacts, all my information," Sterns told investigators during an interview.
Yeah, right.
Now, I know you are an Android person. I have a couple of people in my life that are Android people, and I fight with them frequently about how iPhones are superior. So half of our audience just went, what?
No, that's actually fine. Like 80% of the audience are iPhone users. There's like a mere 20% who are like me.
But when we have an operating system update, it's really difficult to go in and factory reset your phone. Like you have to actively go into at least 5 or 6 different folders and avenues to make that happen. And then you have to enter in your password a couple times and go, yes, this is absolutely what I'd like to do. I would like to factory reset my phone. Yes, please. That's what I want to do. It asks you at least 5 times. Are you sure you want to do this? So shut up.
He's like, idiot. Yes, I'm sure, because I don't want them to find what's on my phone. Yeah. That's what he was sure about.
Listen, dumbass, they're going to find it because it goes to the cloud.
But she didn't even think about that.
Nope. What are your thoughts about this this story? You've got some thoughts about Jen Soto too.
In fact, I Googled the other day, could charges be brought against her? She admits that, and I don't know if it was sleeping together, her daughter, and him, but him and the daughter slept together frequently. And
Yeah.
she was like, oh, I don't know, she has migraines or what her excuse was. But there'd be some nights I just couldn't sleep. So I'd get up so I wouldn't bother them. And she leaves her daughter in bed with this guy who has priors.
Yeah.
And, here's another thing. This just pisses me off. As a parent, I get, relationships and you want to start dating again. When you bring a new man into your relationship and you have children, you are upping, like it's 11 times more likely your child will be the victim of sexual abuse. That's how significant it is. So she is bringing this man into their lives. She lets them all sleep in the same bed. That is like beyond a red flag. That is beyond a red flag. I would be like, honey, you are much too old. You're a teenager. You're 9 years old now, however long she'd been doing this. You have to sleep in your own bed. Or as a mom, I would go sleep in her bed.
Yeah.
But the last thing I would do is let her sleep in bed with me and my boyfriend and then get up and leave him alone. She had to have known. She had to have suspected at some point. There had to have been some kind of indication that she chose to ignore. And that's what pisses me off. Just that she just didn't ever think anything about it. Like, no, didn't see any warning signs, even though I let him sleep in the same bed together. No, nothing seemed weird. Isn't that weird?
It's 100% weird because
their daughter's being groomed.
Yeah. And one thing that I know Tony has kind of argued too is that, or maybe I argued, I don't remember. Maybe she was being groomed as well. And she's a victim too. But she still, as the mother, has a responsibility to care for this child and protect her. And she clearly did not.
No.
Now, any mother of a murdered child, I'm not saying should be arrested. That's not what I'm saying here. But, there were over 60 charges related to sexual battery here due to things they found on his phone.
Involving this poor child.
Yeah. So there had to be, think about between 9 and 13 years old, there's hormonal changes. If this stuff was going on, this kid probably was sending signals that things are going on, if not able to tell her mom what this moron is doing to her. There had to be signs. I think we had heard that she wanted to run away and go live in the woods. Kids want to run away from home, but let's get to the bottom of it. That can't be the only behavior that she was exhibiting that was out of the ordinary. There had to have been signs in the house. Jen Soto had to have seen something that made her go, why is my boyfriend looking at my daughter like that?
And as a mother, and I would say this to any person out there who is a single parent with a child, dating is going to be really, really difficult for you because even though you might be in love with this person, I don't know that I could ever fully trust them around my kid.
Yeah.
And so I would have a hard time with that. Now, I'm not saying every person's like that. Please do not get me wrong. There are wonderful stepfathers out there and wonderful people who have stepped in and been great parents to children who aren't their own. But I think you have to be really, really aware and talk to your child. Now, I wouldn't put any thoughts in their brain. Don't let your kid sleep in bed with him alone. And that was really common. I was reading something about her. She was just like, they did all the time. So I think there was flags that maybe she ignored, maybe she chose to ignore. And, she could be a victim as well, but I'm like, but you also put your kid in harm's way. Hindsight's 2020. And looking back on it, maybe now she's like, oh my God, I should have seen this. I should have known. She might be beating herself up. So I might be being a horrible person by saying she should be charged as well, but it pisses me off because this girl ended up dead and she let her boyfriend sleep in the same bed with her kid without her in it.
And this child suffered abuse for what sounds like years. So could Stephen Sterns been hiding what he was doing to her and maybe threatened her with death if she told anything? It's possible.
Oh yeah.
I guess it's possible that Jen didn't know anything. My gut says you had to have known something. You just had to. You had to have known something wasn't quite right. The sleeping in, the two of them sleeping in the bed together, a 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old sleeping with a grown man that's not, a biological relation, a father. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with brothers and sisters sleeping together. I think there's things changing with bodies. I just, I don't want to sit here and think that every male-female relation has to end up sexual, but, you're at a time when things are changing in your body, and it's just, don't put temptation there that doesn't need to be there.
I don't know. I just hate to blame the mom because she could be a victim as well. But I don't know. There's a little girl who's dead. And that really upsets me. And as a parent, I don't know how I could live with myself after that. I just don't.
I think it would be really difficult. And I guess we'll end the story with maybe a page out of Tony's book. And I kind of believe it in this case as well. But Tony always says, well, if Stephen Sterns goes to jail, I think the inmates will serve justice for him as well.
You're locked into the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.